Hi. I am off to the stables this morning, and if you are wondering why I look like this, stay tuned. That is what I said, but as I'm editing today, I have actually just realised that I completely forgot to film any snippets that provided the context of what the heck was going on and why I did indeed look like that. So here I am to give you the context that past me failed to give you. Basically, the premise of the day was it was a fun Halloween show at the stables where I keep my horse Rosa for quite a few holidays, Easter, Halloween, Christmas. At our stables, the yard owner and her family organise it so that we have an internal show. So basically it's just open to people who have horses at the stables. So there was, for the Halloween show, we had it starts with the obstacle course, and then there was the fancy dress parade, and then there was clear round jumping, and then pairs jumping. So the reason I looked how I looked at the beginning is because I'd used a red lip liner to put on some marks to go with my fancy dress, which you will see in a little bit. So yeah, now we will kick off with when I remembered to start filming and completely forgot to do the explanation, but you're now ready to see that. Someone wasn't as grubby as I was expecting, were you? So it's actually not too bad a job to groom her. A little bit on the other side, but I've started grooming already. Wait for the transformation. I am in shock. I've actually not done an awful job at plaiting her tail. Just get some plaiting as well. Okay, so we started with the obstacle course. That was the first event, and first we've got me weaving through these poles and an emergency yank on the reins for poor Rosa because I messed up and she wasn't listening to my leg quite enough.
Oh, it's the base. Yeah. She can walk over it, go, yes!
Okay, so yeah, the obstacle course happened. So I was overall really proud of my horse. Rosa did really well. Ironically, I had literally, when we did the course walk, so I did it with Megan and then Alice came as well, and I said to them, what I'm expecting Rosa to have the biggest issue with is that jump, and sure enough, she did. I was actually pleasantly surprised not only that Rosa went through the bridge that was made, in terms of it had two fillers either side of it, because those fillers aren't usually in the school, like the horses don't usually see those at all. So it was kind of one of those things where if they were going to find something spooky, I would have expected that to be one of the main things. I didn't see most people's, but Alice and Megan and then a couple of others I caught didn't spook at the bridge at all, so that was quite good. Proud of all the horses there. Now onto the cavalettis. So obviously I knocked the last cavaletti, which really annoyed me because we've been doing them a little bit in our group lessons, and Rosa usually is so smart and so good, like honestly, I could probably get her in there in the worst way, not be riding well at all, and she'd still just kind of figure it out on her own. But I obviously must have been doing a pretty bad job because we ended up knocking that one down. The person that's most likely to have an interesting time over Cavalettis, I don't think Alice would mind me saying is her, because what JJ quite often does when she rides him into the Cavalettis is he decides to try and just jump them all, which is great fun to see. But they were on their top game yesterday, so they showed us up. Also, side note, do you not love Alice's Halloween costume? So the penultimate obstacle was the jump, and as I had predicted, Rosa kind of had a second think about that. I'm very lucky in the sense that they didn't classify that as a refusal for me. That was just a little bit of a hesitation. We just took our time thinking about it before we went over it. Megan and Alice both showed how that's done, even though Coco, she's a babyish drama queen is how I would describe her personality. And she is quite young as well, so she had more of an excuse to be spooky. But funnily enough, the jump she was fine with. So they showed me up there a little bit. Rosa, show off you. Right now, you're not gonna look. Come on. Nice. Oh, you're looking the wrong way now. I forgot to film any footage of me sat on Rosa in our costumes. So here's some photos that Alice took for me. In the background, you will see the fancy dress competition winner, i.e. Megan and Coco, dressed as Death. So next, after the fancy dress parade and prize giving, we then had the clear round. So clear round, basically, if you don't know, it's just the aim of the game is essentially to just get around. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, just to have no refusals and no knocking a pole down. So that's the aim of the game. You can do it at whatever pace you want. And they weren't the biggest jumps. I think they were probably about 40 centimetres, but honestly, it was still great fun going around the course, isn't it? I was a bit worried because honestly, the smaller jumps are usually the worst I am at riding. I kind of need the pressure of a big jump to actually stop me from overthinking about everything else in terms of I have to get over this jump, and that's kind of the only thought I can have. And then the riding kind of happens, whereas when I got time to overthink the little technical stuff, that's where it quite often goes wrong.
Oh, she's off. Oh, sorry. Purple. Double. Still. Yes. I think I got screenshots of that, I hope. Oh, yes.
Seriously, just got the pairs to go, and then you're done for the day. So that was my clear round, and luckily it was a clear round, so that was good. I was happy with that. There was one little dodgy stride in there, but luckily my horse is an angel, so quite often she'll save any of those situations. Yeah, it was good fun. I was really pleased. I think she also hesitated in the exact same spot as she quite often hesitates, which is basically not for like any spooky reason, but as I'll come around the corner towards where I'm facing the gallery, she just has a habit of, she's quite easily distracted by things. So that's kind of the moment where, because that's a point where there's a lot of other things to look at, she doesn't necessarily clock her eyes on the jump straight away. And she wasn't quite in a rhythm yet. And then as soon as we'd gotten over that one, I felt like she really like hit her stride and started, I'd come around a corner and she was actively looking for what jump I was going to point her at. So then the final event was the pairs jumping. So I was paired with Maisie. I think they were selected from a hat. So there was one adult and one child. And we would be paired together. There were 7 pairs in all, and Maisie went round first, so she did jumps 1 to 6, which were a nice height for the kids. So I went round after Maisie got back to the start box from that, and then I jumped 1 to 8, and then as I jumped over the 8th fence, that was when the time stopped.
And Rosie's just like, got her. Okay. I'm cheering you on because I know I've lost. I'm just like, oh. Oh. Ah! Oh, Taylor Swift. Look at her ears. They're so cute. Oh! So cute. Oh! That was a handbrake turning out.
Go on, Sam.
Go on. Yeah! No, don't look back!
So I was pretty happy with that as well. I think looking back, I probably could have kicked on a little bit more, but I'm always a little bit unsure of where to draw the line in terms of how much I can kind of really kick on whilst also keeping the fences up and preventing like that panic that will kind of possibly ruin our flow. So it's a little bit of, oh, how far do I go? Honestly, it's the kids are great, because kids on little ponies doing jump offs are brilliant, because the corners they can pull off, I'm like nowhere near the point where I could even consider like cutting off a line. It was really fun. I watched quite a few of the pairs, and it was really nice to kind of see all the kids and the adults having a good time. I knew at the end of me and Maisie's round, so we had a clear round, and Alice and Avril had gone just before us, and so we'd been told that it was going to be quite close, and no spoilers yet, but it was pretty close. I watched Alice's round back on camera afterwards, and I was like, oh no, we've got some stiff competition here, because look how she comes out of the start box.
Yes, Alice. Go on, Alice.
Megan actually missed being able to watch someone else do the pairs first. So Megan, bless her, thought that she had to get back to the start box at the end, that she didn't know it finished after the 8th jump. Megan accidentally jumping, well, probably on purpose, jumping one of the jumps on her way to kind of cut out a bit of time, because Coco wasn't keen on the gallery, not a people person. And then cantering off is my favourite of sights. I was like, I think because I was so confused as to why it was happening, I thought Megan was just having a fun time. But it turned out that Megan thought she had to get back to the stop box. Oh, bye, Megan. We are done, Rosa, and you're probably happy about that because you wouldn't go out, do you? Okay, so we have got the results back for everything. We got 4th in the obstacle course, because that was done by optimal time. We got a clear round, so that's our well done, isn't it? Yes. And then we got now, oh, second in the team, so we were close. But Alice and Avril beat me and Maisie. So we had Rouge. Still haven't won first at one of the stable shows yet. Damn it. We'll get first one day, Rosa. We will. We will. Oi. Right, Rosa. Quick summary is I'm very proud of you today. Very proud. Good girl. You've grown up so much at the grand old age. Oh, wrong pocket again, Rosa. Get a bit close to the camera, to be honest. Good girl. Oh, you know street time, don't you? Oi. Oi. Good girl. See you later.